There is that casteist slur that everybody associates with KTMs today. That is a genuine problem for KTM today.
Yeah.
But that stereotype is preventing this brand from selling motorcycles today. It became that serious for them because it's a cultural issue there. There are, like we said, for culture, there are traditions, customs, etc., etc. Those stereotypes apply to that group. And I'm saying the same thing. If the police decide all motorcyclists in riding gear are going to behave like fools and we should prosecute, there's nothing you can do to prove that you aren't part of that group. You will be assumed guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
So motorcycles are a little bit of a bad boy tool, right?
Yeah.
And that has been a part of the culture since, I mean, think about it. Hells Angels,
Nobody looks up to the Hells Angels anymore, Kartik.
anymore, yeah. But
Nobody looked up to them then either.
I don't know about that.
The public
But
at
they
large,
were famous.
the public at large never looked up to the Hells Angels. They were feared.
Uh-huh.
Fear is a whole different thing. Fear didn't bring acceptance.
I'm not saying that was okay. What I'm asking is that is an inherent part of motorcycling, being a bad boy, right?
On your own time.
On your own time, matlab kya?
Don't infringe on other people's rights to do things too. For example, Lavasa.
How?
I'll tell you. For example, Lavasa.
Huh.
Who owns Lavasa's road? By your saying, the people who live there. So you should do what the people live there think is acceptable behavior. And don't tell me that there's no racetrack near Lavasa, so that's the only place I've got. It doesn't belong to you in the first place. You make all the arguments about how it's a public road, so you have as much access to that road as the locals, but the locals live on that road. So the Hells Angels is a great example because as much as they're famous and as much as they were storied by Hollywood into making money for Hollywood and built up into a thing, nobody on the ground enjoyed the Hells Angels being there. Because the Hells Angels brought chaos and fear.
The Hells Angels doesn't exist, but that attitude still becomes more common, right? I mean,
Is that a good
of
thing?
being wild. No, I'm saying, what are you saying should be done? I mean, aside from what, see, I'm not getting
I'm
into,
saying be considerate.
okay.
It's very simple.
So can we break this down by, let's say, genre? Let's say,
There's no genre to this, Kartik. Bad behavior is bad behavior.
no, I'm saying, let's say, like as an adventure motorcyclist, right? When we have gone riding off-road, we've been extra careful to be, let's say, when you see some place which looks like farmland, to be extra careful that where you go riding isn't actually somebody's farm. It may be hard to make out at times, right? So doing small things like that, like that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, what are things people can watch out for, which would make them more, better liked, or at least not disliked, right? What is it like as a street rider? What can I do which will be a common courtesy that I could apply, which is not, aside from patience, right?
Be considerate. Honestly, patience and consideration covers everything. Patience is about you allowing other people to drive too at the pace that they choose to. It's not your father's road. If there are other people out enjoying their Sunday drives and they're going a heck of a lot slower than you, you can't be impatient with them. You can't go parallel to their car and then go, what is the message you're sending out? Right? I've seen a group ride where they were doing American group ride rules in the middle of Indian chaotic traffic.
I'm sorry, what does that mean?
I want to be staggered and I want to do hand gestures and all of this drama is going on.
Okay.
It's in thick traffic at a fairly important intersection where a lot of traffic will intersect with each other and change direction and not even signalized. And there was an ST bus on the other side of the group trying to go to the other side of the group to make the right turn coming up ahead. These guys on motorcycles thought that they'd block an ST bus off because 15 of my friends are in that group. Really? You think that ST bus guy is going to be more considerate about motorcycles the next time he encounters them? And you think if he were to decide that they'll get out of their way and he would just turn right, you think the motorcyclist will survive that? Just be considerate and patient.
We've actually heard horror stories about stuff like this.
Yeah. When people get impatient with you, remember you are a vulnerable transportation system user. You do not have protections. A car in the same kind of road rage will still have a crash structure. It will still have 82 airbags. It will still have a sunroof to eject you from. It will still have the 52-star rating that you bought the car for. A motorcycle has nothing. Whether your gear will work is a guess. And we are guessing because we are trying to protect you from what statistically are the most common injury areas rather than all the injury areas. We can't do it. You forget how vulnerable you are on a motorcycle. That's part of the bad boy problem. And I'm not saying the bad boy thing is a bad thing or not endemic to being a motorcyclist. It is. But behavior has to be guided. Right? A child has to be taught to stop eating when they're full. They have to be taught, sometimes they learn it by themselves, that hot things you don't touch with your naked hands. They have to be taught. Human beings are like that. We don't know much when we are born. We pick up a lot of behavior. And yes, you can be angry and you can be a bad boy. There's a place and time for it. If there's nobody around you, have at it. Oh, I misunderstood. You were looking for me the last time, not Kartik. Okay, no worries. I am also on the main MotorInc channel.